Hello, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. In case you don't know me, I'm Anita Mateo, I'm Cuban and I live in Galicia. I've been living in Spain for more than 2 years now and I've been self-employed for a year. And precisely, if you clicked on this video, it's because you're interested in this topic because you want to know a little more. What is the experience like for someone? If the experience of self-employed people living in Spain is already complicated, just imagine someone coming from Cuba, from a completely different system, nothing like this one. Well, honestly, it's been a bit of a cultural shock, a bit intense, but anyway, I'm here to share my personal experience with you, okay? I know this topic sparks debate and people have mixed opinions about it, but here, this is my channel, sweetheart. Here I share my experience, my point of view, whether you agree or not. My problem isn't whether you agree or not, my problem is expressing my reality to you. So anyway, I invite you to subscribe, give this video a like, and all that stuff if you're interested in this topic or if you're just here for the gossip. If you're interested in becoming self-employed and want my advice, stay tuned. This video will be helpful. I've considered making it for a while, debating whether I should or not. I don't want to talk your ear off at the beginning, I want to get straight to the point, but give me a moment. For a long time, I kept saying to myself, should I do it or not? Because it's a very controversial topic, I've realized that being self-employed in Spain is really controversial. I've been through all that, and honestly, I wasn't sure if I should do it, which is why I took so long to prepare what to say. I'll be honest with you, I won't sugarcoat things. I'll share what I agree with, what I don't, what I think is abusive or normal, what needs to be done, and that's my opinion. So let's get started, but first give me a moment because I need to have a coffee, I need to boost my energy because it's super early, and to start talking about this I need energy, so let's have a little coffee first. And, well, before continuing, I'm gonna have a little coffee here and check my emails and all those things. By the way, I'm always very careful whenever I go to a public place with my laptop and my information and all those things about viruses and all that. You know, that's why I always recommend that you use a VPN. Online security is just too important. That's why today I'm here to recommend NordVPN, which is one of the best tools to keep your data safe while you browse. With NordVPN, your online connection is secure. This protects you from hackers and lets you access streaming content unavailable in your country. I love using it to watch movies and shows you can't get in your region. What I personally like most is its Threat Protection Pro feature. Not only does it block all the bad stuff, but it also stops annoying ads and detects fake online stores and all those things that really bother us when we're online. I mean, it's perfect for your online shopping, so if you want to browse safely and without worries, take advantage of the link I'm going to leave for you in the description. In the pinned comment, so you can get 4 extra months of NordVPN. And no worries, because it includes a 30-day money-back guarantee. So now you know, protect your privacy online with NordVPN. Always remember to keep your data safe because that's really important. At least for me, can you imagine if my YouTube channel got hacked? Oh, I would go crazy. You see me in different clothes, but it's the same day. I just changed into sportswear for a walk. As some of you know, or maybe don't, Cuba doesn't have a tax system. Cuba is a country that's hard to explain, and I won't go into detail since many of you already know how things are there. But anyway, over there, there's this thing called being self-employed. There it's called cuenta propia. You pay a few taxes here and there, but it's not like the tax system here. And for example, I never considered being self-employed in Cuba. Honestly, I hadn't thought about it. So I come to Spain and I spend a year without documents. I mean, without a residency permit. But I found a way to get residency through the digital nomad permit. They introduced a new residence permit just last year, so I applied and was approved. For more details, I have a video on my channel, search Anita Mateo Digital Nomad. And you'll find the explanation of how I got my residency here in Spain. Obviously, being a digital nomad includes becoming self-employed. Actually, that was the first step I had to take, and I was like, oh yes, I'm so happy I finally have my residency. That was an achievement, that was a joy for me. And I didn't really think much about, like, now becoming self-employed, what does that mean? And well, I started running into things, I started getting into this world little by little, making mistakes, learning the hard way. But well, it was what I had to do to be legal in this country. Now, if you're not from Spain, you might not understand. You might be wondering, what does it mean to be self-employed? Being self-employed means working for yourself. I mean, a person who manages their own business or their economic activity independently. And actually, content creation is a form of self-employment. I have my own business, which is this. Creating videos on social media brings you income. And since it's an independent activity because I do everything in my job and generate income from it, I had to register as self-employed. To become self-employed in Spain, you must meet certain requirements. There are both pros and cons, and I'll share them from my perspective. The first step to becoming self-employed is to register as self-employed with the tax office and social security. You have to go and register. In my case, I did it online because I had my digital certificate, and if you have your digital certificate, I don't know if you know what that is, you can look it up on Google. It's like a digital ID that lets you request and submit documents online. And I think with this digital certificate, that's how I registered myself as self-employed, and it was all super easy. They approved it for me. It was a process. These parts are easy, the hard part comes later. After registering as self-employed, the next step is to hire an accounting firm or accountant, especially if you're inexperienced like I was. I was lost. I hired an accounting firm. I looked up the reviews in my town, chose the one with the best reviews and all that. And honestly, things are going pretty well with them. They treat me very well and explain everything to me. At the beginning, they explained a lot of things to me about all of this, about taxes. I didn't understand anything, but they've been very patient with me and I really appreciate that. They tried explaining it to me again, saying, don't you get it? Why are you being charged for this? And then they'd use a small sheet of paper to explain. If my tax advisor is watching, I want to send my regards. She has been very helpful and explained a lot to help me understand. Step number 3 is that you should know that every month you will have to pay a monthly fee. This is a topic that causes a lot of controversy because Spain is said to be a country where you have to pay just for being self-employed, and it's not that you pay according to what you earn. You have to pay a fairly high fee every month. Honestly, I think this is a bit much. Compared to other European countries, you pay less. Many countries pay higher taxes. Spain doesn't pay the most. For example, Denmark is the country in Europe that pays much more in taxes. But we're talking about the self-employment fee. This is a fee that you have to pay monthly. At first, you start with a flat rate of, let's say, I think it's 80 euros a month. This might be a high amount to start with, but you could say that you pay a little less for at least a year because then in your second year they can extend it. I mean, you keep paying the flat rate, but that depends on whether you meet certain conditions or not. Generally, if you don't meet these conditions, after your second year, you'll have to pay the regular self-employed rate, which would be almost 300 euros. Now, I did some research and it's true. Imagine that 1 month you only made 200 euros in your business and you still have to pay that 300 euro fee no matter what. Personally, I think that's crazy. You might agree, you might not, but for me and for most self-employed people in Spain, this seems crazy. There are many other countries where this doesn't happen. We're not talking about taxes. Taxes are something that, yes, exist in every country. That's how the system works. That's just the way it is. What we're talking about now is that you have to pay just to be self-employed. For example, in France, you have to pay 14.5% of your income, but there it means that if you don't make much, that percentage will be low. And if you make a lot, well, that percentage will be high. But it's not like a fixed fee. In the United Kingdom, I think you pay a minimum of 15 euros a month. In Portugal, you pay 20 euros a month to be self-employed. That's actually pretty low, honestly. In Germany, you pay 14%. In Italy, it's a little higher. You pay 23% of your income for billings under 15,000 euros. We're talking about the minimum. You can pay much more. That's true. But in Spain, even if you earn little, you still have to pay nearly 300 euros each month. Honestly, if you look for information on social media, everyone has mixed opinions about this. Like, they really think it's crazy because how are you going to pay 300 euros every month just for being self-employed? I mean, I don't know. I think it should be a little less, that they should make it easier. That's why a lot of people are afraid to be self-employed. Besides the taxes, which are already high, you have to pay that fee every month no matter what. I don't know. Let me know your opinions below, what you think. I don't want to get in trouble for sharing my opinion, but many will agree with me. Even if you have a bad month, you still have to pay. Just imagine. Now, as a self-employed person, you're responsible for paying VAT, which is the value-added tax. You pay this quarterly and it's about 21% of what you earned. And also the IRPF, which is the personal income tax. I think you can pay it quarterly too, but usually it's paid once a year. But anyway, I think everyone pays this IRPF, not just self-employed people, everyone in general in Spain. Regarding this, I also had to adapt. I had to completely change the way I managed my money when I became self-employed. It changed. I mean, before it was one thing and now it's another. Because now I have to set aside an amount every month and save it, since every 3 months they're going to charge me those taxes. And it's very important to pay them because, I mean, if you don't pay, you create a debt. Plus, then you get an extra charge of about 10% more. And, well, it happened to me. It happened that 1 month I couldn't pay it. And then about 2 months later, I got it with a late fee that made it go up a lot. I thought, this can't happen again. I need to get organized. It's tough since sometimes you have to pay a lot. But like I said, this really is an obligation. It's not like the self-employment fee. This VAT thing, well, it's a tax obligation you have. Now, what are the rights of self-employed people? I mean, do they have the same rights here in Spain as people who work for a company, who have a boss for a regular business, let's say? The truth is they don't have the same benefits as employees, but you can access sick leave, retirement, and unemployment benefits for the self-employed. But it has to be under specific conditions. Honestly, I'm not very familiar with this topic because I haven't experienced it. I don't know. But it is true that, for example, it's different when you're an employee compared to when you're self-employed. You have a lot of flexibility, but you also have a lot of responsibility. I mean, you have flexibility to manage your time as you please, to run your business however you want within your limits. You can choose your projects, but now you are 100% responsible for your income, your work, your economic activity. And this can also be a disadvantage because it puts a lot of pressure and stress on you. Now let's talk about the disadvantages, about what I see as good and what I see as bad about being self-employed. Keep in mind, this is from my point of view. Precisely, something very good that I see is that you can manage your own time. It's no secret. It also depends on the job, since self-employed roles like running a restaurant can be more complex. I'm talking about a small business of your own that you run from the comfort of your own home. For example, me, my YouTube channel, my social media. You have a lot of independence because you don't answer to a boss. You organize yourself, manage your own time, and create the content you want. For example, I organize my own videos. Sometimes I do have promotions or responsibilities with brands and such, but I adapt it to my vision, to what I want to do, to the video I want to make. Another advantage is this initial flat rate that lets you start out as self-employed. Try it out for a year to see if it goes well, and if it doesn't, then you don't continue. But at least you have a year to try it, paying a fee that isn't so high. Another advantage is that you have different sources of income. I mean, it's not like I go to a regular job every day. They go to a job every day and know that they have that salary every month. Here, it depends on many other things on the work that you do. For example, I have income from sponsorships, collaborations, and also from the views my YouTube channel generates. So you also have different sources of income. I'm not saying that's super great either. Sometimes things don't go your way, and some months you have no collaborations. It's all very different. No month is the same as the previous one. And this can be good, but it can also be bad. Now, the disadvantage is high fixed costs. I'm telling you, for me, it's definitely a disadvantage, this high self-employment fee after you finish that first year of the flat rate. Because it's a fixed cost you have every month. And like I said, if 1 month doesn't go well, what are you going to do? How are you going to pay that? It's happened to me. Like I already told you that there are months when I couldn't pay, for example, the VAT every 3 months. It happened to me once and then it turned into a huge problem. Honestly, this can be a burden and a pretty big source of stress. If you're self-employed and you're watching this, you probably understand what I mean. Maybe there are people who won't understand me, but I know that many people will. Another disadvantage is instability. Like I said before, 1 month you might do well and another month you might not make anything at all. And labor rights are different from when you're an employee. For example, self-employed people don't have the right to paid vacations. But look, you can access benefits and other rights like sick leave and so on, which I mentioned to you earlier, but under specific conditions. And the total responsibility you have, it's stressful to be self-employed, guys. It's stressful. Now, after telling you all that, I'm going to tell you more about my year, about my experience, and my very personal opinion about this. But anyway, let's walk a little. This year, well, as I already told you, I officially started working as self-employed. And I started paying, well, there are people passing by back there, and it's a bit embarrassing to be talking about these things in front of people. Look, this topic of taxes is quite controversial here in Spain. Seriously. If you went from Spain, you wouldn't understand how controversial it is. There are many young people who don't want to start their own business. Many people avoid starting businesses in Spain, choosing instead to start them elsewhere or work abroad. For example, many young people go to Australia. Not specifically to start a business, but to work as employees. But they make more money than here, and I think being self-employed is a total headache. I think this self-employment fee is quite high. Honestly, I can't lie to you. I can't sugarcoat it here, and you're going to say to me, oh girl, if you're going to complain, go back to your country. Guys, I'm not complaining. I'm speaking for myself. I'm starting a business in a country I love, that I adore, and honestly, I love this country. I care about it so much. But they do put a lot of obstacles in your way. And that doesn't mean that I'm complaining. Every self-employed person in Spain has said this, okay? But we have to be realistic. I give my opinion because I have that right now. Because I do it. I pay taxes. I'm living this experience. You can even look it up on social media, I don't know, on other platforms, on other social networks. And a lot of people think that maybe this country isn't going in the right direction. Because of this, like a lot of young people don't want to start their own businesses. A lot of people are closing their businesses every day. So many people are shutting down, and a lot of people are deregistering as self-employed because of these complications they put in your way. Now, are there people who are doing well? Of course there are. If that weren't true, there wouldn't be so many restaurants and businesses open. Many people are doing well, but others have to close their businesses. I was reading and also watching TikTok. That's the information source. It may be real or not. Anyway, I watched a TikTok video of an expert economist or similar. He was saying that by the year 2030, it will be impossible to be self-employed in Spain because the self-employment fee, this rate, is going to keep increasing. So, the more you earn, the more you're going to pay. It's totally crazy. Some new figures came out, say you make 600 euros, you have to pay a self-employment fee. A self-employment fee of 200 and something euros. It's crazy because what do you have left for yourself? Practically nothing. And that's why a lot of people are saying that as the years go by and these fees keep increasing, it's going to be pretty much impossible, really difficult to be self-employed here in Spain. And well, I already told you that for me it was a pretty tough year because I had to completely adapt my finances to the system. Because I had never experienced it before, I'm telling you, I'm not complaining. Because a lot of people are always saying things like, stop complaining, this country gave you the freedom that your own country didn't give you. I'm not complaining. But we have to talk about how things really are. You can't just sugarcoat things, but it's a pretty complicated reality. And well, that's my opinion. Well, today is another day. I went to buy vitamin D because it turns out that here, since there's not much sun, now you saw that yesterday was sunny and it was a very beautiful day. But look, today it's already cloudy and it's just the next day. I'm here at the town hall park. The Sunta, as you would say in Galician. In fact, I'm learning Galician because I'm in a project where I have 100 days to learn Galician. Support me on my new channel, which I'll also share here if you want to follow. For those interested in this topic, I bought vitamin D to see if it helps my mood. It helps me relieve some stress in these things. And now, I talked about all the pros and cons of being self-employed, but I don't complain at all. In fact, if you want to become self-employed, try it, give it a try. I don't regret becoming self-employed at all. It has given me so many opportunities. It has given me a job that I like. But nothing is 100% perfect. Everything has its risks. Everything has its conditions. That's just how life is. Unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. It's part of the process. Anyway, what I want to say is that despite those less positive things, yes, it's really good to be your own boss, to be the one who manages your own things. You know? I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, so I'm not telling you at all not to be self-employed. No, you should try it. There are people who do really well. There are people who don't do so well, like everything in life, and that's it. I just wanted to tell you this, and I'm going to end this little video. I hope... Why is he starting to cry? Oh my god, I have to go home. Well, I want to send you a big kiss. Subscribe. Like this video if you enjoyed it. And if you don't like it, well, give it a like anyway. Why not? I'm going to see if I take this vitamin D today, right away, because I feel kind of down. See you next Sunday, because I'll be uploading videos on Sundays. Now I'm going to the supermarket to do some shopping. Doing things like a responsible, self-employed adult woman in Spain. Ladies and gentlemen, bye-bye.